Omens fandom. I am so happy to be here with you today. I know we're all having a lot of really big emotions today, and I know that all of you are going to be the wonderful people you always are in the chat, so I don't even have to remind you of that. I apologize for my appearance. I did not have the energy this afternoon to do my hair, put on makeup, so this is just, I'm back in basically my pajamas. So thank you all for coming to the live stream today. We have a couple of minor changes that we're going to do format wise. Eterna has been kind enough to offer to host the show today. I'm going to be here the whole time. I'm going to be involved in the chat, but she will be sort of guiding our discussion. Madman has also offered and is sort of co-hosting, especially at the beginning here. And we have so many guests today, so it's going to be a wonderful show. And with all of that, yeah, big emotions. Really big emotions. So with all of that, let's bring in our guests, and I'll be able to chat with you guys more in the chat this way. All right, here we go. Okay, so I want to say hi to everybody real quick, and then I'll hand it off to Madman first. Hi, Eterna. Thank you so much for offering to host. You really came out of the blue with that, and I appreciate it so much. Welcome, Gleefer. I'm so glad you could make time today. Laura, lovely to see you again. Kat, thank you so much for making time. Madman, thank you also. Comic, thank you for being here. And Odean in their lovely costume. That is the awesomest cosplay. You always have such great ones. Thank you for showing up and bringing, I don't know, your best selves. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Madman, and I'm going to be the tech person. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Hey, thank you, Sandaria. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. As Sandaria said, emotions are really high right now throughout the fandom. And so before we dive into discussing season 3 of Good Omens, there's something important that we all should keep in mind. Part of the beauty of this fandom and the book and the show is it's all about balance, right? It's all about these different people coming together and doing amazing things, not in spite of, but because of our differences, including experiences and reactions and opinions. There's no correct way to feel about season 3. People can love it, hate it, grieve it, celebrate it, or feel all of that at once, and it's all normal and valid. Disappointment is not a betrayal of the fandom. Enjoying it is not a betrayal either. A lot of people are grieving their years of hope, theories, waiting, and emotional investment. Everyone carried different expectations and hopes into this season. Canon can't erase what the story already meant to people, and the fandom is bigger than the finale. Fan art, fic, edits, cosplay, analysis, and friendships still matter. This hurt me and this healed me can both be true, and we can disagree without attacking each other. The goal isn't consensus, it's patience and understanding. Strong reactions mean the story mattered deeply. We can make space for grief and celebration at the same time. Thank you all again for joining us, and let's get started.
Okay, thank you, Madman. Yes, as Sandaria pointed out, I'm taking over hosting duties today, so Sandaria can really focus on the tech issues, which hopefully means we'll actually get more interaction with the chat, because someone will have their eyes on that at all times. Yeah, as has been pointed out, there's a lot of strong feelings about the finale. And frankly, even among our guests here, we kind of run the gamut. We have people who loved it, we have people who hated it, and especially we have a lot of in between, which we're pretty sure kind of reflects the fandom at large and how a lot of you guys are feeling. So we're going to try to do the best that we can to make room for all of those opinions, all of those feelings. We've got plenty to discuss, and we're going to try to get through a lot. But just remember to be kind to one another and to bring this fandom together. I think I'll save something for later that is along those themes. But I thought since there's so many people here and there's so many strong feelings about this, I thought that we would start with just a brief chance for every one of our guests to give their overall impressions of the finale. just overall big, how did they feel about it? Good, bad, otherwise. But to try to keep this somewhat contained, we're going to try to limit each person to maybe, I don't know, about 2 minutes max each. So if you guys feel like you can get your reaction in there, we'll obviously be breaking down more detailed things going in, but overall big impressions. I was thinking maybe we could just go in the order that that we are on the stream here. I don't know if Kat Stein, you feel ready to start us?
Sure. I can start. I am on more of the positive side of the group. So I'll give I'm going to tell you basically what about it is special. And I'm probably going to cry the whole time, regardless of anything, just because big emotions. And I wish that everybody could come out of everything and out of this feeling at least better, feeling that they're, finding something healing. Because I love all of you guys. So overall, I mean, there's things I once I had some time to step away, and there are things I want to delve into about what I think definitely could have done better, and the things that I think just are bad because of the lack of runtime. I also need to rewatch because I'm sure there's more things that I said, and I would like to do that too. But right now I'm just going to say what was special about it for me. So when I got to the very ending, after I sort of went, what the heck was that? And my brain sort of started the process of seeing things. This was before I hadn't read Rachel's interview where she talked about what her impressions going into the directing was. I hadn't even noticed the end credits with all of the little different universes of Aziraphale and Crowley. All I had was the one AU that they gave us, our world AU, and the snow globe. And immediately what I felt from that is oh my God, they are everywhere. There's a multiverse. There is zillions of possible there's infinite universes, and they are everywhere. And what that means is that even kind of retroactively, all of our favorite AUs are canon. Everything I'm going to write is canon. All of the fan art on my wall is canon because they exist everywhere. And I've never encountered that in any kind of fandom space. And just feeling that, and since I know there's even more things I've picked up on since that are references to this whole multiple worlds out there. And every time I think about that, just the fact that I am part of this, canonically part of this, and they exist in me and in my art and in your art and in everything that I love about it. And even with the flaws, that is just, it's so special to me. And that's what I'm going to take away from this. So, yeah. Sorry about crying all over everybody.
No apologies.
No, I think a lot of people cried and are crying, and so I think it's beautiful to have someone expressing that for us. That being said, Laura?
Yes, hi, hello. So I was one of those people that was somewhere in the middle, I think. The way that I've been conceiving of it is that I think that my emotional experience of the finale and my intellectual experience of the finale are very different. The first time I watched it through, I laughed at little funny moments. I cried at the end. I felt this big catharsis, not thinking too hard about the implications and what I consider them to be, just seeing these two guys that, were in essence, are Florbos, getting to have a happy, peaceful ending, hit me somewhere in the feels that bypassed my intellectual brain and just went straight to the amygdala. And I was I cried and it felt good. And then I thought about it a little bit more and I watched it again with my husband that night. And the part where I'm experiencing a lot of disappointment is I felt like a lot of the big themes, the overarching themes that were explored in the first two were not, we didn't get to see those carried through. And it's not that, I know we knew going into this it was going to be a shorter time, they weren't going to be able to do everything. But it's more that, like, I think I'm more disappointed in what we didn't get than what we did get. I don't know. Like, they had some time, and I really just felt like I knew we weren't going to get all of it, but we got such a small portion of what everyone was expecting that it's like it. And then they spent a ton of time on things like the gangsters that didn't end up needing to be in there at all. They could have cut that 20 minutes and had it be, a flashback scene, or the boys having a love confession, stuff that actually would have really mattered to the fandom. So I guess that's where my big sense of disappointment is coming from, in spite of me feeling pretty good emotionally when it was over. That's my 2 cents.
Okay. Yeah, middle of the fence. Gleefer, you're up next.
Hi. I am also middle of the fence. Much the same where I first saw it, and I laughed so hard at so many of the scenes. I was delighted with the cosplay he did for Hell, and Lydia Dietz Muriel, loved it. But yeah, the same. It's like after I saw it and after I processed it a bit, I just got kind of a feeling of like, man, there was other ways to handle that where, they could have been together too. And if it was paramount that they became human, why not just let them become human then as themselves? So at least they have their selves, their history, and then they can live their lives as humans. It was hard emotionally for me because I love this universe. I love these characters. I am delighted. I play with them all the time. I draw them all the time, all the side characters and stuff. And to see them all, like all of them go, was kind of like, man, that stung. That kind of sucked. Not gonna lie, and to do it in such a way where it's like a Thanos experience. I felt like Peter Parker. I was like, I don't feel good. I don't feel good. And I felt like I loved seeing them as humans. I loved seeing their little cute meet and that they got to retire and get married, and that was very sweet. But I was also like, I don't know. So, but that's just my opinion. And, it's not my story. It's not my movie to make. It was someone else's, and they could take it where they want to or where they felt they needed to. It was well done. It was well acted. I'm sorry that it wasn't a season. I'm sorry, it was just a quick movie. And I agreed, like the mobster scene, that wasn't necessary. I would have loved to have seen Aziraphale and Crowley actually look at each other and say to each other's faces that they love each other very much. And then have like a quiet moment with them by the tree would have been perfect. So it was just kind of like, yeah, it felt a little empty. The humor was there, for sure. The seriousness of it, I appreciated. But I felt like they tried a little bit too hard to make it too dark and edgy with the Michael, villain. I don't know, man. I was just like, I get it. I'm perimenopausal. I see you, Michael. I feel that, Michael. I sometimes want to take a book and rip it up. Flames at the side of my face, Michael. But yeah, there's stuff I love. I'm definitely going to rewatch it. I'm going to make my husband watch it with me. And I'm going to be like, see, and get his opinion. There's so much I'm going to draw from it. I've already drawn stuff that people seem to like. That's silly. But yeah, and the good stuff is great. My opinion on the other stuff, that's just my opinion. And I think eventually, once we settle down a little bit, it'll be easier and we'll be able to go back and enjoy it and just kind of work it into our thoughts and our, like I said, our own personal canons in this multiverse.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I guess technically in this lineup, I'm next. So I am also one of those in-betweeners. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I almost had the opposite experience of you, Laura, in that like my first time watching it, I was so disappointed. I came out feeling kind of nauseous and not very good. But like the longer I sat with it and as I started to rewatch, I'm like, there's actually some really great stuff in here. So I'm kind of still feeling a lot of mixed feelings about it. I think I have a long history in fandom. I've been in fandoms for over 25 years, all sorts of different fandoms, and I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I've been severely disappointed and let down by shows before. And so I think that kind of prepared me for whatever this was going to be, including this. So I was able to take it more okay, maybe because I feel like I've been through this before, and I already know how to separate kind of head canon from actual canon. And that's part of what I'm already doing to cope. That being said, I didn't mention it in our last live stream because I knew it would be very upsetting to people. But when Cindaria asked, like, what is your like kind of pet theory going into the finale? And I was like, I think they're going to be human at the end. And I didn't think that for a very long time. But then the closer we got to the finale and the more I read the reviews, I'm like, I think that's the direction they're going. And I can be okay with that. And I weirdly am kind of okay with getting rid of heaven, hell, God, the devil, and just having Earth be Earth free of influence, even if it is without our favorite angel and demon. But I totally get a lot of people are not, and I'm not trying to change anyone's mind. So yeah, I'm feeling a lot of feelings kind of all over the place, but mixed. So Cindaria, I don't know if you want to share your feelings.
Yeah, I can do this. I've been thinking about it. Yeah, it's a little difficult, but first of all, I want to say that I'm extremely grateful that Michael and David got to portray these characters again because we came really close to not getting that. So that's like a big positive takeaway from me from the show. I was really happy to see that. Michael just he ate it up in hell. That was amazing. I loved the demon. The first time I watched it, like I haven't rewatched the whole show, but I rewatched that one scene. But I was kind of confused at first, but it was at the same time I was like, wow, like he's really just such a good performer. He knows when to lean into something. I really, let's see. I find I'm struggling a bit with all of this to even have like a coherent thought in a way. I want to say there were a lot of little funny moments as I was watching it, and a lot of like moments of heartwarming feeling. I when I first saw the kiss at the end, I was kind of confused by it. I thought we were going to get something more, but letting my expectation go of that, and it does mirror the the lip touch in season 2. So I like that in the long run. I think that was okay, but I'm oh, also I wanted to say what you were saying, Eterna. I actually also for the longest time have thought they would become human, like maybe since right after season 3. One of the things that happened was my friend Emily, who if you've been anyone who's followed my channel a long time will recall from way back, that was one of the things we talked about really early on. She was extremely afraid of that happening, and I could see a lot of signs of it even just in series 1. There's a lot of hints at it, and I'm not surprised by that, and I'm not even disappointed by it. Like I said, kind of mostly expected it. I did change my mind off and on sometimes, but it's not them becoming human that I find upsetting. It's the way that happened, because and I know that not everybody feels this way, but when I saw the finale, what I felt was that those weren't Asa and Anthony aren't Aziraphale and Crowley, and that's just for me personally. I can't buy into the reincarnation in a different universe in the same way, because I do feel that their memories and their experiences are what made them special, what made them them. And so for me, it was more bitter than sweet because they're just gone, and we just have these new characters. So that's just how I personally experience it. So that's what's made it a big struggle for me, in addition to dropping some of those themes that Laura mentioned. So, but at the same time, what I found at the end here is that with talking with other people about it, everyone's been so like supportive and understanding of everybody else's views in our little corner of the fandom. I understand that in some corners that might not be happening, but I'm really grateful that in our corner that's what's happening. Like I can't say how grateful I am for that, to see everybody supporting everybody else. So okay, I'm done. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you
I'm
for that,
just gonna
Cinderella.
pop off at this point, just for my
Bye.
own mental health, so I don't weep over
Sorry,
everybody
Kat, and thank you so much
anymore.
for coming. Thank you, Kat.
And yes, you're welcome. I'm glad I was able to be here for a little bit. And I know I will be able to talk about this a lot more and in a lot more depth, like later on. And I did drop my fanfic links in the chat. They're very short, they're very fluffy, and I hope they will help some people heal or just laugh or whatever. So, bye.
Bye,
Bye.
Kat.
Thank you.
Yeah, Kat said she'd have to leave early. So, yes, thank you for sharing, Sandaria. I actually think you're speaking for a lot of people. A lot of people aren't even that upset about they end up human. They're upset about the way they ended up human, and that they're not really them. So, yeah, thank you for voicing that. Next up is Madman.
I have a friend who told me about this before. I was at work and they got to watch it. When I got home, they're like, okay, you got to watch it, but just keep in mind, it's very dense. So, and didn't really get what she meant until I started watching it. And I was like, yes, it's very dense. I think I think I was sort of like Laura, where when I was watching it, I kind of enjoyed it. I took little videos of myself so that I could do the thing for Sandaria's thing with the reaction video thing. It's a small plug right there. So if somebody wants to drop that in there, I don't know. I didn't tell anybody ahead of time. Sorry. Anyway, but I remember, I had these little snippets. I watched back through them. I remember hitting like the 26-minute mark and just pausing it for a second and be like, there's so much left to do. Like, how are they going to get to everything? Obviously not realizing. Point being is that I did enjoy it during the experience. Was kind of a fun ride, and I enjoyed the jokes and the little things here and there. But then later, when I was laying down in bed, that's when the intellectual part of my brain was kind of like, well, but what about this? And what about this? What about this? And so I just kind of let my emotions come and go as they would. I think overall, I appreciate the fact that they did leave a lot of room for us as a fandom. Like, there's still a ton of stuff in there. And because there's so many questions, I had a lot of questions is another thing. I think that gives us the opportunity as a fandom to answer those questions for ourselves and take it and run with it. Part of me feels like they kind of knew that this was the end, and this gives us, a place to go from. And then in the chat on the Discord, somebody mentioned at one point that fandoms with divisiveness in them tend to survive and perpetuate longer because there's more to talk about and argue about and discuss and run over. So I'm trying to hold on to that as sort of like a little gift for us, so that it's not like, okay, that was good, let's move on. Is that we can all kind of be like, wait, but what about this? Wait, what about this? So I appreciate that that they gave us a lot of material and stuff. And I didn't know about the AU part. I hadn't watched all the little pieces yet, so that's kind of a cool thing too. So I hope that, like others have said, that this is very emotional experience, no matter where you want it. And it's like grief. You're going to feel all kinds of things. There's an entire spectrum of emotions. So wherever anybody's at, just hold on and try to make it through and keep your heart open and your mind open. And hopefully things will, it'll become more robust as time goes on. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that, Madman. Yeah, I had the same thought. I'm like, we are seeing all the stages of grief here expressed in this fandom. So. Next up, comic.
Hi. Yes. I really didn't like it. I'm very angry and heartbroken, to the point of feeling kind of betrayed. You know, when the showrunners and people associated with it were tweeting about like, oh, there's going to be nightingales, and we were so prepared for that South Downs cottage. Like, of course, this wasn't what we wanted. It wasn't what I wanted. Um, I wanted them to be them. I wanted them to retire and get to finally rest as themselves and without their memories, without their past. It just isn't them. I didn't feel that Asa and Anthony really felt at all like Aziraphale and Crowley, and honestly, to me, it didn't feel like they even had chemistry. I didn't see the interest that they had. Anthony didn't feel particularly queer to me. And there are parts of the overall finale that I would want to be different, different focuses and time spent on different plot elements. I agree that the gangster plot seemed unnecessary in the context of having so much else to do. And I didn't feel like season two's cliffhanger was properly resolved. I I've seen. Okay, so I am very upset that they didn't survive. I feel like they died, and so did everyone in the universe. Um, I am so pained that they never said the words "I love you." They never had a proper kiss besides the most traumatic possible one. They never even hugged, not even as humans. They didn't get to have a picnic or. And I don't think that's fair. This is a very queer story. These are characters that are queer literally and metaphorically, and it means something different to show them expressing that love, saying it so that no one can deny it. Kissing, hugging, like it was sweet that they held hands and Anthony had a wedding ring on, but that wasn't what I've been waiting for. And I know we're going to have so many AUs in the fandom. We're going to have fics that change the ending. We're going to have all this art, but it shouldn't be our responsibility to give queer people happy endings, what we deserve. We're in this political climate that is so toxic and so hateful, and there's so much media that's pulling back and cutting queer characters and storylines, and it felt like it was that too. I'm sincerely concerned that, as far as I know, there weren't any queer people involved in making this story, and it feels like it was held back, censored, maybe, I don't know, but we know what happened to Aziraphale and Crowley. Maggie and Nina weren't even there. We know that they both lost the businesses they loved. Who knows if they're even together? Who knows if they're even alive? Mutt's dead. Or was dead before everyone else. And Mutt's spouse, while I'm very glad that they were there, still didn't get a name and thought that their spouse had maybe committed suicide. Why would you put that in there? Why didn't any of them get to be happy? it just felt like the easiest possible thing to just let them retire, to just be like, well, we solved another apocalypse. It's good. The first 2 seasons, Adam told us, or the them told us that you can't just make new people and have that be okay. Job couldn't get new children and be okay. Why? I don't feel okay with there being a new world with new people. Humans had free will. That was the point. We were always blessing and screwing ourselves over. It's just, yeah, it's, I don't feel like it delivered on the messages or the themes or the promises, and it's been devastating.
Eterna,
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
Before we go on, comic, I wanted to share with you in the chat that there's a lot of people thanking you. Sorry, I'm having a hard time talking at all. For sharing and saying that was very brave to share. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I was going to say the same, comic. I know you speak for a lot of people who are feeling very upset, very betrayed by that. And so I'm glad, in a strange way, to have that voice represented here. So thank you for being a voice for those people.
Thank you.
Oh, Dan, do you want to say something?
Do I? Yeah, I feel a lot like an imposter at the moment. You guys all make me very emotional. But yeah, before I say how I felt about the finale, I have to say about the general emotional space that I was in going into it, because I feel like it's a bit different from most of you guys. Because talking about the stages of grief, I have already landed on acceptance a year ago. So basically, I watched this finale with a big emotional disconnect and didn't feel that much, which I'm very sad about myself, because I loved these characters. I was extremely invested in them. After the second, I joined the Discord server literal hours after it opened. And I've been extremely active there the entire time, and the community is so lovely. So I wanted to feel something. But the fact is, with everything that has happened, with the show getting canceled and the reason that, and then we get the 90 minutes, and I know that these 90 minutes were celebrated by the fandom, and so many people fought extremely hard for them, and that's wonderful. But for me, the 90 minutes felt like a loss. The moment we got the 90 minutes confirmed, I knew we wouldn't get the original vision. We wouldn't get what we deserved. And at that moment, that was the moment that I cried. And yeah, but that's been, I think, yeah, no, I know exactly when that was, because it was my birthday. So that was in October 2024. And since then, I've had time to kind of move on. With that being said, I still have, of course, feelings and emotions and a lot of thoughts on the finale. Generally, I fall in the middle, like most people in this chat. I'm very torn about the themes, and I'm sure we will discuss those more closely, because I felt like some themes hit really hard, and I really liked them, even especially with this emotional background coming from. But other themes, I also found like they didn't deliver on them at all. So it's a very confusing in-between space for me. And the same with the story. So there were some story beats that I really liked and where I thought it felt very fitting. And then others that kind of led nowhere, which is probably also a fault because we just got 90 minutes instead of 6 full episodes. But that's an explanation, but no excuse. So yeah, I'm still. I only have watched it once. I didn't have that much time to think about it yet, so my opinion will probably still change. But at this time, I can mostly describe it as confused and yeah. But one thing that I forgot who mentioned it, but I think it was Madman. That I also feel is I'm glad that it wasn't an ending that was just there. So whatever we feel about it, it was impactful. It did something. And for better or for worse, I always prefer that over something that is just mediocre. Like, for example, not sure if it's completely different fandom, but with the Star Wars sequels, I will always take episode 8 over episode 7 because some people hated it, some people loved it, but it made an impact. It made choices. Some people hated those choices, some people loved them, but it was something instead of episode 7, which was just a rehash of episode 4 and offered nothing new. So that's my main takeaway for this finale.
Okay. Thank you, Odan. Yeah, I can resonate with that. I feel like the grieving had already started for me. Yeah, well over a year ago when we got the news that it was going to be a reduced runtime. And the more I think about it, the more that's the deepest bit that I'm unhappy about with this finale is I think I could have done with everything that we had if it just would have had more room to breathe. If every storyline would have gotten to be fleshed out, if the moments like the apology and the goodbye could have gone on longer. I felt that a lot. So I quickly wanted to check in. Sandaria, you've been watching the chat. I don't know if there's anything that you want to highlight that people have been sharing.
Specifically, not right now. They're sharing back and forth their feelings, and everything that all of you have said, somebody agrees with it. So it's really great that everyone is giving voices to like all of these different opinions. So thank you. Yeah, it's been a lot of good discussion.
Great.
You know,
Please do speak up if there's something from chat that just needs to be shared.
I just had a thought. You know, maybe the trick is that we all just need to slow it down, just replay it, but like on a third speed, and then it'll be 6 episodes, right? Then it'll have room.
You want to prolong our suffering?
You know, or maybe they left it in pieces so that we could break it apart and fill in the pieces that they missed. That's what it is. Yes.
That sounds like nightmare to an ADHD brain.
True. But that's what fanfics is for, to fill in all the blanks. So now that everyone's had a chance to kind of share overall impressions, I kind of thought we might skip over some of the stuff that actually happened in the finale, if there are anything that we want to discuss there. So I don't know. I feel like we just had to talk about that cold open. And
Yes.
I heard someone refer to Aziraphale as Legolas, and I'm like, yes. And I was like, what is this? What is this long-haired Aziraphale that we're seeing? So I had feelings about that. I don't know where everyone else stood.
I enjoyed it very much, like visually, but to me it didn't strike me as Aziraphale. It was like, who is this person? You know, the guy who's like, oh no, I gave my sword away. Oh dear, I can't lie to God. And he's like, I killed 100 angels. I wear this awesome kilt. And I'm like, no complaints there. But yeah. And then like, I like Crowley jumping in and they're like, but that kind of also takes away from season 1 opener where he's like, oh, Crowley or Aziraphale, you know, it's like they knew each other, but it's now like, So yeah, that's my opinion on that. Did enjoy the knees though, like the knees.
I felt confused. Like we knew that Aziraphale had a platoon, and I could see a scenario where, like, before murder's even been invented, like, if Aziraphale is presented with just, like, solve the math problem of how to command the troops, I could see him being good at it there. It was... What was Crowley trying to do with that fire? Like, he's like, I'm going to use trickery to get your sword, and
to do what? Yeah.
And then gave it back.
He was flirting. He was flirting. He's like,
That's Crowley's version of flirting.
kiss my boo-boo.
Like, he could have just stayed hidden. He could have...
No. He's like,
You're
I
not going to
want
mess
that
with the Eternal
Legolas.
Flame or kill the hated General Aziraphale.
He's like, that man with the long hair, that's my man.
I said he saw him up close and was like, nah. I'm gonna keep you around.
Oh my gosh, I've got a couple people in chat saying, Michael, what has happened to your hair?
In the abstract, I liked the idea of Aziraphale getting a different hairdo for once.
Oh yeah.
Perhaps
yeah.
a different one.
Not quite that one. You guys know, so Crowley's hair, that wig under there, had to be the one we saw way back in like 2024 when the makeup artist posted just the wig on a... Remember? So yeah, there it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah.
We saw it.
Yeah. Madman O'Dan, any thoughts on the cold open?
Well, I like that we got to see some part of the fall, even though I would have preferred, to see Crowley's actual fall. I think that would have been more impactful as well and more important. I don't know, this scene.
Oh, so impactful. He fell.
I actually didn't really like this scene. I think it's the scene I dislike the most of the whole finale, which is interesting considering most people have probably stronger opinions on the ending. But first of all, it felt so extremely exposition-y. Basically, this whole scene was just there so that we can get the fire, which is later than necessary, so Michael can burn the book, because that came out of nowhere. Suddenly there was this flame, and it's fine to introduce new elements. That's okay, but the whole scene really felt just like it there for this one thing. And the other thing is, and it's I don't know. Well, the CG in Good Omens has never been great. And usually I'm perfectly fine with that. But when the thing opens, so you're not yet immersed in the story, you've just started watching, and then you're slapped in the face with a basically full CG scene. Oof. I'm not even someone who sees this a lot, but this hurt. This hurt a bit.
I was going to say also, after I watched it, I thought to myself that it felt a little bit like a Saturday Night Live skit with the actors. They did, didn't it? A little bit.
I mean, kind of piggybacking off of Sandaria's thing, the only thing that bothered me about it is what bothered me about a lot of the scenes in the finale, which is that the world didn't feel full in the same way that it did in the first two seasons. Like, a lot of scenes had like 3 to 4 people in the room, and that was it. And usually, like, when you're in hell, when you're at the battleground, it's like there's people in the background tending to wounds and, moving around, and they're,
That's a good point. That's a good point. It all felt like COVID.
It did feel like COVID. Oh my goodness, that's perfect. I was like,
Where was the
art
armies?
business.
There was Michael and Uriel and Crowley and Aziraphale, and that was it.
I particularly felt it with the demons. Like,
Yeah.
it's just Dagon and Eric representing all of hell. Like, okay, I guess they couldn't bring back in Shax or Furfur, but
a lot of other
Because
folks.
they were busy. Wiggle eyebrows.
I've heard a couple things in articles and stuff that make me think that, when they scrapped the 6th episode and turned it into 90 minutes, Amazon was like, we're not putting a bunch of money into this. And they had to
Yeah.
really try to do what they could with very little money, which
Yep.
is,
And it
I think,
showed.
partially also why they did almost the entire thing on a soundstage and in the Wickford Street location.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have money to do lots of other and have extras. And
They should have considered
I'd have been in
Muppets.
free.
who would have volunteered to be extras?
Muppets.
I'll pay my own money and fly over there doing it. Should have tapped the fandom.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just personally felt it was especially visible, the budget cuts in this very first scene. And that's unfortunate because when you open a movie with that, it doesn't set the best expectations or the best mood.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely felt like a soundstage, and Azir, like you said, Gleefer, the Aziraphale wasn't Aziraphale. Like, so he's like this, you know, before the fall, and then like this after the fall, but during the fall was like his peak moment. Like that was high school for him.
And the intro was always the intros were always a nice look into their personalities, right? It's like we get to know more of who they are, both in season 1 and season 2. And then with that set up with movie 3, you're like, oh, so he is this manly, leader who can handle business. But we're supposed to believe then he completely fucks up the second coming. Pardon me, can I swear?
Swear away, please.
He messes
fact,
up
yeah,
so
go ahead,
bad. Please edit that out. I apologize. That he bungles everything up, and which would have been really kind of fun if he did that on purpose to get Crowley back. Like if he used that as an angle, like, oh, I need to talk to my friend, you know. But yeah, it was choppy, and you know, I didn't like seeing him like that. You know, personally, me, I was like, yeah, it was fun. You know, it was kind of cool, I guess. But it was like, I love the sweet, nervous guy who was still sweet and nervous at the end of season 2.
Yeah.
Although he did
Yeah.
do that smile. He did do that kind of sardonic smile.
I would have liked a Aziraphale in that first scene who's like clearly grappling for the first time with the horrors of war.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
it was maybe just a math problem before, and it's like,
It's like,
and
what
that's why he
happened?
doesn't want to hold that sword anymore when it comes to Eden.
I love that. Yeah. Would have been nice.
I wanted to quickly point out we have a poll running in the chat to
Oh.
get people's overall impressions. So we'll let that run for a while and then
Yeah, it's pretty
Daria, tell me when
broad.
it wraps up.
Polls are always hard because they're going to be sort of reductive, and I'm sorry for that. Did the best I could.
Okay. So let me know when you wrap it up and we'll look at the results. I feel like we got to move on because there's just so much to cover. Jesus. Thoughts about Pizza Jesus?
I want to
And
adopt
Jesus'
him.
story.
He was so adorable.
He is adorable.
Just want to squish his face.
I would have loved to just see, and part of the sadness of this not being able to be stretched out is because they did introduce a really sweet new character that would have been really fun to see them explore, you know, and just to let him really run with it, you know.
Jesus?
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
missed that. I had a mom emergency.
Oh.
We're discussing Jesus.
Jesus! Justice for Jesus. What the hell?
I can't believe they didn't make a like "Have you found Jesus" joke at any point.
At one point, no, they did. They said it at some point, didn't they? Didn't someone say I found Jesus or Aziraphale? Oh, I thought one of them said it.
But did they make it as a joke or just like, oh yeah, there he is, as opposed to like?
I'm
you know,
pretty sure
let's
they use some
interpret
variation
that.
of find or found Jesus. I just
But
can't
as a
remember.
joke.
I mean, it
That's
wasn't told as
yeah.
a joke, but I think obviously it's meant to be.
We'll have to watch it again. I'll
I'm
make
seeing if
that.
anyone in chat remembered, but yeah.
But yeah, I was thinking like maybe not keep the first scene, but I thought it would have been pretty cool if the first modern scene was just skip to Aziraphale coming back to Wickford Street. He's looking around, he's seeing the changes. He finds Crowley and is like, I've lost Jesus. Like that's hilarious and could be a great jumping in point for everything else and not deal with the gangsters.
I think we all agree that the gangster storyline didn't really add anything. I would have loved to have seen what they would have done with like a full episode of that. But as is, it's like, what did that do?
I like
Yeah,
Harry
like,
the
it was
fish
cute.
though. I think like his
Oh, right.
friend. As short as small a part as that was, like that could have been like Harry the fish and Jesus on a little buddy cop adventure kind of thing. It was very cute. They were very cute together. I liked it.
Imagine if Harry had gone along while like Curly and Aziraphale are escorting Jesus or whatever, and Harry's just like also there.
Like the straight man. Like, what is happening right now?
Exactly.
It's
Michael
like the one human in What We Do in the Shadows, the movie. It's like, and this is my friend. And they all like the friend better eventually.
My little pet theory was that if they had done the whole thing, that the plan was that Jesus was eventually going to get his disciples again. So Harry's like,
Oh,
and then like he gets to like burst straight.
Oh,
that would be fun. I
that
love
would have been fun.
Yeah, but you know, Thanos.
No. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do kind of feel like I loved Jesus. I wanted to see more of him, but it also felt like they introduced Jesus. He made some people feel good, and then he just disappeared. And I was like, what did that add to the plot?
Like even he knows. Like, well, that's all I got. I like he specifically went to people and said, like, here's some wisdom that can specifically help you.
Yeah.
You know, go to your family. They want to see you. Your mother's sick, and then none of them get to do anything with that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes it to me. It makes it feel like the whole Jesus storyline is kind of pointless.
It was just
in there
mean.
because that's what the
It
cliffhanger
was
was.
mean. Oh, that was mean.
I mean, it was kind of nice because he, you know, none of them knew that they were going to get Thanos, as somebody else, as Kat mentioned.
Thanos.
I just verbified that.
Yep.
But they didn't know that. But you know, in true Jesus style, he brought them peace to some extent before.
For like a
He
minute.
got them pizza.
He brought them pizza and pizza. You know, whatever your preference is.
Yeah.
Filled their bellies and filled their hearts. You know.
Yep.
Again, a storyline that I feel like maybe if there was a whole episode or multiple episode storyline, I would have felt like there was something to it. But
Yeah,
I'd
exactly.
love to see him go with Aziraphale and Crowley. You know, I feel like if they had tied him even just a little bit more together, I think it would have worked better.
yeah. That being said, we've been talking about how, you know, Jesus disappeared and they're looking for him. I was surprised that Metatron disappeared like immediately.
So fast. Everybody thought he was going to be the big bad.
They were so building up Metatron's going to be the big bad villain, and then he just like, oh, he's gone.
He was totally Snoked, if you know what I mean.
He was so built up, and also we got that random drop that he had been messing with the Book of Life, but we never expanded on that, never found out what he had done, what implications that has for what we know about the universe. I thought that the whole mystery with Michael could have just not been a mystery, and that would have been more effective because, you know, we got 10 minutes of not knowing who it was.
Yeah. Can I point something out really quick? Just this is a complaint of mine because plot holes kind of pick my brain a bit. And in season 2, when Crowley's like, the Book of Life, that's just something we tell cherubs to scare them.
Mhm.
But in this season, it's like it exists. Everybody accepts it exists. It's a thing. It's got its own pedestal. It's got a camera aimed at it. You can check in on it.
And Crowley
Crowley's
knows
like, well,
most
the only way
about
you can
it.
destroy it, the only way you can destroy this thing that's real now is through this flame that just appeared in the season as well. So I was like, huh. I'm sorry, I'm complaining too much.
No, it's fine.
No, I think we all felt that.
Yeah, I was like, huh.
Yeah. So that being said, I almost feel like they did a wink wink to like, yeah, it's really obvious it's Michael by having several people say that explicitly.
I actually liked that part because it felt for me it felt very on point. So basically at first you didn't know who it was. It could be multiple people, and basically the very second or maybe a few minutes after we could figure it out as the audience, everybody had figured it out. And then Muriel came in and did this whole thing. Oh, I know it now, and then everybody already knew it. And I
I'm
thought
the useful idiot.
that was
Aw.
one part of the plot that for me felt very on point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Chat,
true. That's
I
true.
saw somebody say that they want the adventures of Jesus and Adam Young spin-off.
Aw.
Well,
Yeah.
as we will get to, apparently that was something that was cut from the original 6 episodes. So,
Well, they're at the restaurant together, so
yeah.
that's
So I don't know. Any other thoughts on any of the angels? I surprisingly liked Sandalphon in this. He was actually very funny.
Yeah.
Tell them it's the end time.
He was wonderfully gross.
Yeah.
I really wish that Aziraphale had been doing more up there. We had so much time to contemplate that end credit scene where he's in the elevator and just like having a million micro expressions and ending with a smile. I was sure he was going to do big things in heaven, and it just didn't feel like it. To me, it didn't feel like it warranted the amount of heartbreak he caused. It felt very much like, no, Metatron's offer was entirely on the level. Everybody's listening to him. There's like 5 people in heaven, so it's not even that hard. And you totally could have visited Crowley. Why didn't you?
Yeah, nobody cared. They're like, why don't you go see him? He's like, nah. Go see
Yeah,
him.
he brought Crowley up to heaven in front of everyone, and they're like, hey, wait, demon? And he's like, eh.
Yeah.
It's
Make
weird
that up.
because like most like post season 2 fics that I read, he was doing even less in heaven. Like no one would tell him anything about the second coming, and he's like not able to do anything. At least in this one, I felt like, oh, he's the Supreme Archangel, and he's making
Right.
them do things. He's not ultimately stopping the second coming, but
And in some of those fics, they kept them that way to just keep him away from Crowley because their joint miracles were so powerful. Where the
Yeah.
hell did that go? I was
Wow.
waiting for that one.
Crowley
that-
couldn't do
that's
miracles at all,
infuriating.
even though apparently that was the thing. Like, why, if Hell could turn off Crowley's miracles, why didn't Heaven and Hell do that in season 2? They were so scared.
Yeah.
That was
Right.
all infuriating. Infuriating that the way they dealt with miracles, period, was just
I did kind of feel like dangling the joint miracle like in front of us and then not revisiting that ever again. I was like, oh, I wanted to hear more about that. So
And
Something else that I had a
Crowley was never confirmed what his angel identity was. Even though they were implying he was super high ranking and maybe he had some of his memories altered.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very strange, especially because, as I just mentioned, he knew so much. Like, he was the walking exposition on this book of life. For some reason, he knew everything about that thing. So I was expecting some kind of reveal. I mean, I had already expected one after the last season, but even more then. And
This
I
part kind of
assumed-
reminds me. This part kind of reminds me of just the irritation that I have with the opener that they did, like the recap. Because watching that, I was like, oh, they're going to do this, and they're going to do this, and they're going to do this. And
Why
so,
show him taking the halo off if they're not going to do the halo thing?
And
Like,
Yes!
I was really frustrated by that because I felt that was very misleading, which is part of the reason at 26 minutes, I was like, they have so much. I haven't even seen the halo. Like,
Yeah.
so.
yeah, someone mentioned that so much of the recap you didn't need to know it to go into the finale.
spend a third of the recap showing you Jim and Gabriel. That
Which didn't even show up. Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
It's
I can always have more
It's
ham.
ineffable. It was ineffable.
Ineffable. There we go.
Yes.
I actually have to go because I have dinner and a show tonight. Could I quickly leave you with my 2 favorite Easter eggs in the show?
yes, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. My first is easy. It's that Crowley's plant is a prayer plant.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The second one is that Harry the Fish is played by Mark Addy, who one of his more famous roles on screen is in the Full Monty. And when Jesus first approaches him, he's like, do you know where to find the lady? And he's like, oh, yeah, I did some cards back in my day. Used to do the Monty with a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
Great line, great reference. Freaking loved it. So those are my favorite Easter eggs. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Laura.
Thank you,
Bye,
Laura.
Laura.
Bye.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Yeah. She shared that before, and I loved that because I love the full Monty, and I was ashamed that I hadn't realized before that was that actor.
I was watching it and I was like, Monty, I know that somewhere.
Yeah.
I feel like that's on point.
Yeah. Before we move forward, I wanted to check in with Sandaria. Did that poll wrap up?
No, but I can do that right now. I'm pretty sure everyone's had a chance to do it. So let's go ahead and wrap it up and see what happened. There you go. Let's see what the score is. Really split. It's almost like 30-30-30. In the middle, 32. Devastated, 29. I love it, 24. I don't know yet. Still processing, 15.
Yeah.
Even split.
That seems about what I was expecting.
So if that was their goal, like,
yeah. Yeah. Now
Yeah.
they nailed that really well.
Yeah. Okay. Oof. All right. We're gonna get into the big stuff now.
Okay.
The self-sacrifice. That they sacrifice themselves to reboot the universe without a heaven or a hell. I know there's a lot of mixed feelings about this, a lot of strong feelings about this. Where does everyone stand? Maybe
get mine out
we do a
first?
roundabout again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do the roundabout.
Okay, go ahead. Yep.
Well, our lineup has changed. So why don't we do backwards from what we did? I don't know if Odayan wants to start.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, sure, I can start. Yeah, so first of all, in isolation. So not thinking about what that does to all the potential themes that were set up. I really liked it. Yes, I was, of course, extremely sad to see the characters that I love die. But I don't know, it felt, as I alluded to in my opening, very fitting for me to have this all stories have an end. And because the how everything came to be and how we came to this finale, it felt very poignant to have this final goodbye from the characters that we loved, the goodbye from the creators that we loved, one of which died and one of which died for us because he did something that was not okay with our morals. And so it felt to me as a goodbye to these people as well, goodbye to the actors. And yeah, so it had a very strong core in that regard for me. I agree with what most people said, that the Asa and Anthony, they are not Aziraphale and Crowley. They are not the same people. They don't have the memories. They were cute. Those few minutes that we got of them, I personally thought it was very cute. I liked them. I did think they have chemistry. But to me, it was unnecessary. I am actually of the maybe unpopular opinion that
Should have
this
just
part,
ended destruction.
yes, in my opinion, it should have
Dark.
ended with the Big Bang. So basically, they say goodbye, everything dissolves, and then bang, and then it ends. Credits. I think
like
because
it.
then we would have even more this idea of an infinite universe, and we don't know what happens. Anything can happen, and because so that's how I think it should have ended. If we say that the sacrifice in itself is a good ending, so to speak. But if we want to have this ending, then I feel like we should have ended it right there. But yeah, I think those are my main thoughts on that. Do I want to add anything else? Not specifically. I would like to come back on my thoughts on the queer themes later on, but I think for now I can give it to the next person.
Okay. I think actually, surprisingly, a fair amount of people would agree with you. I think some people would have been happier with just ending, and then we can write our own version of what happened. Then this is what happened, and a lot of people didn't like what happened. So yeah. Next up, comic.
Shall we do a
Hey.
poll
Oh,
real
sorry.
quick before I start comic about for the audience
Oh.
here? So I like I had never actually thought about that, but what O'Dane just said was pretty honestly. I think that's a pretty brilliant idea, a different take that I hadn't heard before. So does anybody have suggestions for what we should put in for? It's really hard for me to come up with because it has to be so cut and dry for a poll. I'll come up with something, but we'll get a poll going. Sorry, go ahead, comic.
I feel like it's either like, oh, that was heroic and beautiful, or that was awful. Why did they do that? Or I don't know. I'm still processing.
Yes.
Right? Kind of like the last one.
Mhm.
Okay. Comic.
Yeah. Well, I really didn't like it. And it didn't make sense to me. Like if this is based on an actual intended sequel that Terry Pratchett helped plot years ago, I could find it believable that he would want the sequel to have a pro-atheism message at the end. Like, I think that has potential within the Good Omens continuity. I wouldn't choose it if it were the story I was writing, but I can appreciate that philosophy. I felt like it came out of nowhere though. Like as I said before, I think that it goes against themes that we've already seen, that it's not right to just kill people and then replace them, as we saw in the previous seasons. And it's not right to, more broadly, just destroy something rather than trying to fix it. There were other options. The idea that I've seen floating around is, what if they had just rewritten the universe in all those blank books?
Mm-hmm.
That could have been really cool. But there was free will. Like, Crowley makes the point that, you know, people are born and there's a million things against them from the start and so on. And that doesn't sound like it's especially heaven and hell's fault. Like, we know that they interfere to an extent, but Crowley and Aziraphale got away with the arrangement for so long because no one was checking up to make sure they actually did stuff. And humanity was busy doing their own thing the whole time. They were the ones who consistently did things far worse than Crowley was ever going to think of. And I can only assume that happened on the other side too, with humans being unexpectedly good to each other. I mean, that was never really explored as much, but with the themes of balance that the show tends to have, I would imagine that's the case. And so if Crowley is pointing out the pain that people live with, that's overwhelmingly a problem with humans. The conclusion seems to be intended to represent our world, and we've got so much unfairness. Like, whether you believe in God or not, we have deeply unequal society that humans have come up with, that humans oppress humans with, that we're still born with a million things against us. So how does making a new universe make that better? I wish that they had chosen to reform things. I wish that they had tried to do better based on their experience, based on 6,000 years of knowing humans and seeing our flaws and our beauty, and also I wish that God had a bit more nuance. She seems like a very different character in this version, just very, very cut and dry, very black and white of like, yeah, you do what I want. No, I don't care about humans. I have a list of rules and we're going to do this the way I wanted. Where in season 1, it seemed like she was kind of mischievous, had her own thing going on. It was a game, not a story. And she seemed pleased or at least curious about the apocalypse getting averted in season 1. What is this? So, short answer, I don't like it.
Oh, you're muted.
Oh, yeah, Eterna, don't worry. It's just part of being on Sindaria's live stream is accidentally muting yourself and not realizing it. Someone has to do it.
Sorry. Yes. I'm just looking at the time and realizing like we still got a lot of stuff to cover. So let's just quickly go through Madman.
Okay, so I have a few thoughts. I took notes in case anybody didn't see my sticky notes because ADHD. Anyway, so my first thought was, and I'll be quick, don't worry. Doctor Who, it reminded me of Doctor Who, is we're all stories in the end, just make it a good one, eh? I know not everybody's Doctor Who fan, and I know that's the wrong doctor, but I thought it was poignant. I thought about the self-sacrifice part, about people who, for me, as somebody who recently has discovered that I give too much sometimes to my own deficit, that it kind of gave me this message of people who give and sacrifice and work for other people, and then they still just get to do that till they die. Like, you're going to just sacrifice until you're just done, because that doesn't feel fair. It also made me think of martyrdom, which is ties to Jesus and all that. So maybe that's a theme we can explore another time. And then my last two things: kill and replace, human choice. It was interesting because the kill and replace was a human concept. We don't want to replace it. Humans were like, Adam's like, no, that's not what we do. But this time it was chosen for them, and it was chosen by an angel and demon. They chose opposite. So you talk about free will, that's kind of counterintuitive, a little bit of cognitive dissonance there. And then the very last one is, if I were to change the ending, if you're going to have the one of them, the ending of them together in the garden, I think it would have been cool if they're going to do that and imply that there was multiple endings, is that they could have had several different endings that they filmed in different locations of them meeting, and then kind of pull back with all of them, kind of, you know, how they have sometimes multiple scenes like we have here, of them all meeting and giving that impression, because I didn't get that impression in the end. I missed that part in the credits where there was like alternate universes. So I feel like that could have been a little more, I mean, whatever, we're going to find it, but that could have been an interesting solution, you know, to that. So
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me share.
I've heard the multiverse theory kind of thrown out there as a thing. So yeah. Scenario, either yourself or stuff from chat.
From chat. So Basic says, I think the hard part for me is Aziraphale and Crowley tell God that it is not right to run the universe for 6,000 years and then flip the game board over, and then that's how the finale felt like they flipped the game board. And yeah, different endings in different universes. I see other people agreeing that they like that idea, but they wish it hadn't been portrayed in the credits. But like agreeing with you, Madman, having it be more of a central focus of the story rather than almost like an afterthought. So yeah, sharing that from the chat. Real quick, I will make my fast because I know we have like 45 minutes and ish. And so I just, about the sacrifice part, it doesn't feel like a sacrifice because I don't know what they sacrificed themselves for, because again, they already had the free will. There were, I don't know, however many billion people live on the planet, and they were given the option to bring those people back and try, like what Comic was saying, try to fix things or at least improve, you know, fight for what they had. And essentially they chose to I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. Let themselves end and let everything else end. So I didn't really feel the sacrifice part of that, because what were they sacrificing for? What was gained by anybody in the end? Because it just seems, I don't know. I didn't understand the free will stuff either. It was very confusing to me because again, they all seemed to already have it, God or no God. So that was, I don't know. My thoughts are all still confused, but that's kind of my summary.
Yeah.
I like the idea of sacrifice. It was clearly like, it was laid out. Like I suspected one. It was hinted at. It was going to happen, but it has to be for something. It has to be for something.
Yeah. Okay. I don't necessarily like the execution. I definitely think it was rushed, but I actually like the self-sacrifice idea. I think it's in line with particularly what Crowley's been saying all along. Aziraphale always had this view of like, what needs to happen is we just need to fix heaven and hell. Like, make them better, put better people in charge, and then everything will be great. And Crowley's always been saying, you can't fix it. You can't change it. As long as there is angels and demons, they're not going to be able to not meddle. The only way to get them to not meddle in humanity's free will is to get rid of them, is to get rid of heaven and hell and the whole hierarchy. And never saw a post-season 2 fic that attempted to like come up with a solution that I was satisfied with, because overwhelmingly the solution in fanfic is they get rid of the Metatron, they get rid of the archangels, and they put in better management in heaven. And then they go and live on Earth happily. And I was like, I think Crowley's whole point is you can't put better management in, you just have to get rid of the whole system. So to me, that felt like the ending that I would have chosen. But like I said, I think the execution was kind of lacking. And I also totally get why a lot of people hate it. And yeah, that's my thoughts. Gleefer.
It's me. I hated it. and I'll tell you why. Because it was completely unnecessary. Like everybody spoke before me, it was an unnecessary murder of everybody. And not just them, everybody. They wiped not only heaven and hell off the map, they let everybody just disappear. Because it's not the same universe. It's zeroed out. The Big Bang, completely different. I think it would have been so much better, in my opinion, not my movie, not my story, but if it was my movie and my story, if they wanted to get rid of heaven and hell and angels and demons, they could have asked God to, hey, why don't you let everybody come back, but there's no angels and demons, no heaven and hell. And then we could have explored like Michael running a freaking cafe and being human and being thanked for something and it like affecting her. And then they could be human and then they could retire to South Downs. And like the angels and demons, after this horrible traumatic battle that they went through, and the demons hate hell and no angels happy in heaven, they could have lived the rest of their lives on Earth as humans and enjoyed having free will. You know, it would have been beautiful. It would have been so nice. And, you know, to see Muriel and Eric, that they were enemies and they get to be together now and just be silly and explore things together. You know, the joys of, I don't know, petting puppies. Everybody loves puppies. Why couldn't we have puppies?
Every puppy is dead.
They're dead. All the puppies are dead.
Comic, just rip our hearts right back out.
I swear to God.
All right,
So,
Gleefer, I want the puppy ending comic from you.
Well,
Please, please. Puppy
I did
ending.
do an after credits thing. If you guys want to take a peek, I'm gonna post it in the public in a couple days. But it's on
But
my
are there
Patreon.
puppies?
Oh.
I'm gonna add one. I'm gonna
Okay,
add
okay.
several. In fact, I'm drawing it now.
Okay.
But
All right.
I hate to say it, but I do have to get going. I just want to tell you guys, thank you so much for inviting me, as always. I loved all the opinions. Comic, I really felt what you said. And, you know, thanks to you, I hate it even more.
You're welcome.
But I also love it. I do love parts of it. I'm so grateful that it was made. I will take any combo of David and Michael together, even if it's like a infomercial on real estate. I will watch it.
Yep.
But you guys take care.
Thank
Be
you.
easy with
Gleefer.
yourselves. Make sure
Yeah.
to eat, sleep, drink lots of water, and relax. And know that
Yep.
this fandom's forever. And, you know, we love each other, and it's going to be okay.
Yep. Fandom forever.
that's
Thank
it.
you, Gleefer.
It's fandom. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. All right. Scenario,
Where did
it looks
the
like we
poll-
wrapped up the poll. Yeah.
We did. So it looks like, where did it go? Where'd the poll go? Lost my own poll. Oh, there it is. Okay. So we have mostly, this one's actually got more of a majority. So at 46% say it's a mix, heroic but sad. 26% say it was pointless and sad. 17 says it was heroic and sad, and 11% still processing. So there we go. Thank you for sharing, everybody who voted in the poll.
Yeah, it feels like that kind of reflects our thoughts too. So. Okay, yeah, like I said, we're kind of running out of time. I don't know if anyone had any other thoughts on God and Satan. You shared a bit of yours.
There's a song from the 90s that says that. Do you have any thoughts on God? And then my brain just went there. I don't know if anybody else did, but
Tell me all your thoughts on God. That's
it.
the lyric. Yeah. Okay, so Madman, tell me all your thoughts on God. Yeah.
I did not mean to anyway.
Yeah. It was too fast for me.
Yeah, it was too fast. I mean, she looked fabulous, or they looked fabulous with the outfit. I love that. But I was not pleased by the fact she did not seem like the God from the first season. But she did have a lot of micro expressions going on, and there was more behind. And I always appreciate, especially female characters or female presenting characters who have a quiet, poised power that they hold, because that's not always the case. But I feel like I have to watch again to kind of soak in more of that. And there was a line, by the way, where I think Aziraphale said, or Crowley said, should I tell him or should you? Referring to Satan. And they never said what that was. I don't know if you guys remember that at all. I'm going to have to go back and read.
I think I know what it was about. He was talking about how he was an equal of God's in a way. I can't remember exactly the wording, that, he was here to do this thing. And shall I tell him or you is to tell him he's just another pawn. He's just a pawn, the same as them, the same as a human. There's no rank. There's God and everyone else.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. That's just my
sense,
interpretation.
Yeah. It was just a little it was there and then they moved on and I was like, wait, what? So I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch it again to kind of really soak in more about it, I think.
That did kind of bother me.
Jacket.
They said should I tell him or should you? And then they never said it. And I was like, what were they not gonna say?
I liked the jacket. Seriously.
You mean God's jacket?
Yes, God's jacket.
Yeah.
The costume was great, as always. Kate Carey.
But she was kind of wearing just sneakers, basically. I was watching it with my friend, and suddenly she pointed at the screen and was like, "I have those shoes."
Of course you do. God cosplay coming up.
I'm all about normalizing shoelaces in the workplace, or tennis shoes in the workplace. So
I would love to see a version of some show that has God as a legit character, where it's like the usual way they play it out is like, oh, I work in mysterious ways. I'm not going to explain it, but trust me, this was all for the best. And it was an interesting deviation from that for her to just be a black and white jerk, who seemingly has never cared about humans. Bit of a bummer there. But I would love to see a version of God who admits to being fallible, who, my headcanon going into this was that God was tetchy in a lot of the early years and eventually came to kind of feel uncertain about that and decided to step back because she saw the misery she caused and was like, well, maybe that's not what I should do. It would be kind of like the equivalent of a parent who tries to improve after being abusive.
Funnily enough, I've actually had the English language is awaiting me in this regard. The person leading the
Metatron?
no, sorry. So basically, I was in church once, and the person who was leading the
the minister
church thing.
Yes, like
I'm
a minister
sorry,
or
I
a
don't have
priest. Mm-hmm.
Pastor.
Yeah,
Pastor.
it's not. Yeah, pastor. Thank you. Yeah. So, and she was having her talk about this topic because there's actually even evidence for that in the Bible. The Bible has like a whole bunch of it contradicting things in it, but I still thought it was interesting that there you can read from the Bible that God recognizes their own mistakes and tries to improve on them. So that would be an interesting concept. And yeah, I also have to say that as a I'm not a particularly hard practicing Christian or anything, but I am Christian, and I don't like this very one note portrayal of God. That's
Yeah. Again, we're running so short on time, and there's so much I have to talk about. Sandara, you said briefly that we should maybe quickly talk about the Eternal Flame. I don't know if you had thoughts on that.
I didn't have a ton, but also, depending on how everyone is feeling, we are welcome to run as long as anyone still wants to chat. So if you want to stop in 30 minutes, then we'll stop in 30 minutes, because I don't want to overtax anybody when you have things to do. But if we need another 10 or 15 minutes and a couple people are good to go, then we can go over. There's no hard time limit for me, so it's up to you guys. Okay. The Eternal Flame. I just wanted to mention two quick things. First, I'm also good with things being added into the show, like new lore. It is biblically, it's in there, like in the Talmud, and in some practices in Judaism. I didn't understand it. I think it was just added. It felt, by the end, it felt like they'd only done the first scene and added that Eternal Flame so that Michael had a thing to throw the book into. So it felt a little hilariously Deus Ex Machina kind of like thingy there. But then I was looking for songs to make fan edits to, because this is one of the ways I heal, and I came across the Bangles Eternal Flame. Is it the Bangles? No, Heart. Who the heck sings it? I can't remember now. But Eternal Flame, another 80s song, and I'm listening to it, and it's so perfect. And it has to be a reference. They didn't. I feel like that's on purpose. That's definitely a reference to Israel and Crowley, and not just. It's not just a plot device. So that was all.
Well, they did play another 80s song, so.
Time After Time, which, by the way, I played a game with Comic, with like submitting music for these different scenarios, and that was actually one of the songs my husband picked, was Time After Time. So as soon as it came on, he's like, nailed it. Anyway.
That's great.
Okay.
By the way, the lack of Queen music was appalling. We had one song. That was
Two.
Which one did I miss?
It's the one
Right
in
at the very
space.
end, there was another one.
At the very end.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, that's Amazon always just skips away, and I couldn't manage to get it back. So okay.
Okay. Again, kind of flying through this. I know. Some people wanted to talk about queer themes. I think Madman, you mentioned it. Comic, you definitely.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to quickly say. Oh, Comic, you can go ahead. Say first if you want.
No, go first.
No. Yeah, because what you said earlier with that you felt that we were missing a lot, like of especially with Aziraphale and Crowley, that we were missing, like they didn't get to hug, they didn't kiss, and on all of these things. And I would like to share my personal opinion on this, because I'm coming from a different queer experience, basically, because I always definitely had canon these two as ace, and on a very that their whole relationship is much more emotional than physical, which fits very well to my personal experiences. So that's one of the reasons why I was drawn to these characters and to this world when I watched season 2. And I wouldn't have minded a kiss. I even had it on my bingo card and everything. I expected it. But I do actually really like how they played out the two of them. I felt this is a lot of this credit goes to the actors. That I felt I could really feel the emotions between the two of them and how deeply they cared for each other, and I actually loved how little words and how little touch they needed to bring across how much they mean for each other. And for me personally, that was extremely special because so often emotions and, oh, you love this person, so you must hug them, you must kiss them, you must, do all these things. And for me, it's not like that, and I love to see that portrayed on screen by such actors that have the capacity to portray it, because in many situations, of course, it wouldn't work if you don't have any. It is a visual medium, and if you don't have any like things happening, you can't see it. But I saw it in the actors' faces because they are so brilliant, and yeah, so that was my count at least on this part, to see the ace experience, the arrow ace experience, and the deep love that can come along with it.
You're right. Sorry, I messed up. It was you that wanted to talk about that, not Madman. So
Yeah, thank you for giving me the moment.
yeah. I also wanted to point out there's another poll in the chat going on right now. Sorry, Comic.
Yes. So I feel like when it comes to queer representation, we are stuck in well, we've got too little representation altogether. There's just not enough opportunities being given to the whole community for anyone to feel satisfied. And I am so glad that you were able to get that meaningful sense of representation. If For me, if they wanted it to be more of an asexual connection, I wish that it had been spelled out more. I wish that there had been a human who was like, "You two are in love, right? You should make out," and then they could be like, "No, thank you. We like some human things, and that is not one of the things we choose to embrace." I wish that they had. I wish that it had been portrayed in a way that conservatives aren't able to deny. I feel like when queer depictions don't have basically a banner saying this is what we're doing right now, that that people they ignore it, or they diminish it, or they leave it censorable in places where.
Do we want to discuss this this article by Rachel, the interview where she talked
that was
why
next
they didn't
on
do the
my
kiss? So it's on
agenda.
topic. So just kind of like, can we? Why she didn't do the kiss? So I actually haven't read the article, you guys. I have been unable to do much besides cry for 3 days. So I'm sorry.
Okay. Comic, you mind if we move on to the article?
No, I haven't read it myself, but I have heard reference to it, and it sounds like it's relevant.
Okay. Sundari, I don't know if you want to pull up that article. I thought
I think I have everything ready, but I do not. So it's not the TV Insider thing. I might have to go find it. So I know we're short on time. Are we going to? This is totally up to you guys. Are we going to watch? Do you want to guys take like a little emotional couple minute break and watch we have two things to watch. We can either watch the credit sequence, because a lot of people can't, or we can watch the interview with Michael and David while I look up this interview with Rachel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I would kind of prefer not to.
Okay. You would prefer not to watch either of those things, Comic, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't really want to see them.
Okay. Totally.
I can go if you guys want to.
I don't want to kick you out either. So we can watch those closer to the very end.
I guess if you don't mind, I want to add something too, that I really appreciate this opportunity to be with all of you and talk about all this, because you guys everybody has the different interpretations of the experience, especially the two of you, Comic and Odayan, very different experiences with that moment. And I appreciate it because it's adding all these layers that I hadn't thought about. and it gives me a lot to explore mentally, psychologically. And while I feel kind of, I'm always like in between. This is my like lot in life, is to always feel everybody's emotions on both sides forever. Anyway, I appreciate the fact that there wasn't more given, even a hug or something like that. It felt, but I also agree with Odayin, where there was so much in their faces that I watched it again right before we were here, and there's just so much in that moment. And so on one side, it's like, yes, it's really too bad that we don't have more of this solid representation. Yes, in your face, like, this is it. You can't deny the fact that we exist and this is real, and it is real no matter what you say. But on the other side, it's almost like the fact that there wasn't, and the fact that those actors portrayed it so well, and you can feel it, even though no physicality wasn't, expressed, that nuance is art and perfection. And nobody can deny that either, because the emotions that they were portraying were very real. Now, obviously we can't win everything and not everything's perfect for everybody, but I appreciate that there's so much depth to just that one moment. So thank you guys for giving me that, to be able to explore that. So
Agreed. So
Yeah.
the quote from the article, we'll just summarize it to this one quote. Rachel Talele said that it was a deliberate choice, that believing that focusing on their enduring eternal love was, and this is the quote, so much greater than one physical kiss. So I think that summarizes it pretty much.
That was one of the big things from that article. She kind of explains why they didn't have a kiss. I was okay without a kiss. I wanted a hug, though. There was some other interesting stuff in that article as well that I thought was notable. I was so intrigued by, like, they specifically asked her about why the sacrifice of giving up immortality, and having them becoming human without knowing their history. And they say it's a Terry Pratchett question. Rob Wilkins had a whole philosophy that Terry had about this question. Ask him. And so I'm like, oh, we're definitely going to ask him that at the Inevitable Con, because maybe he can explain it. And then there was just this little tidbit in this article. Like, she teases us, because of course she can't go into detail about it, saying that the original 6-episode script, had a Jesus and Antichrist storyline. That Adam was going to play a bigger role than just showing up in the cafe at the end. And I was like, oh, I wish I could have seen that. I think we were all kind of hoping there might be some, like, more Adam stuff.
Yeah, when I was running away from our last stream because, like, no, you mentioned something I didn't know, I thought that it would actually be a big deal that Adam was there.
Well, after he was in the credit, the IMDb credits or whatever that we found, it was like, wait, that's it? He was an extra.
In the most crowded scene in the movie.
Yeah. I don't know if there was anything, like, really else very big from that. People should look at the article, because it was very interesting. They did talk about the Terry Pratchett portrait that they kind of zoomed in on at the end, and how that was created. I think this article is also going to be fairly divisive, because some people, it gives them more insights into what was going on behind the scenes. Other people are like, they're justifying this thing that I hated. So, are we going to then look at the Peter Anderson stuff? I don't know. Comic, yes. You said you didn't want to be there for that.
If we have time, we can do it at the end. I think this is what we've done before when Comic didn't want to spoil themselves on like some of the stuff we were looking at. So is it okay with people if we just do it in like another 10 minutes roughly?
I could put that at the end. Yeah. And the behind the scenes video too?
Yeah, if that's okay. I guess that makes it easier.
Okay. I don't know whether anyone wanted to go over their bingo cards, or did anyone get a bingo?
No.
Did you want to get a bingo?
Isn't that the whole point? To get a bingo?
I don't know how I feel about anything anymore. Everything's bad.
I didn't make a bingo card. I made a game, but about half of my things showed up, which I was pretty happy with.
Not bad.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, Laura wanted to talk about Easter eggs. She brought up her two. I don't know if anyone else had Easter eggs that they had noted.
I had heard. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to change the subject. If we have time before I go, I'd like to talk about a couple of character choices, just storyline or things that happen to specific characters that hasn't come up yet.
Okay. I'll add that to the agenda. Madman, you were saying?
Easter eggs. I had heard, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I like Doctor Who. I heard that there was a Doctor Who reference. I got issues, okay? I got subscriptions. That's how many I got. I heard there's a Doctor Who reference, and I have to watch again. Does anybody here know what it was? Because the only thing I could think of was when Sandalphon was unexisted, and there's like on the wall is like his portrait, and there's an episode where one of the alien or other creatures puts people flat on the wall. So that's the only one I could think of. So I don't know if anybody else knew, or in the comments if they want to share.
Yeah, there was a review that came out that said, "Oh, there's a blink and you'll miss it Doctor Who Easter egg," and I kept my eyes open. I didn't see it.
There was also the when Uriel went, her image kind of looked like a weeping angel. So maybe it was a blink, because anyway. That's another conversation for another. Yeah.
I did wonder briefly. Derek, the Metatron character in the bookshop at the end. I briefly thought he was reading a Doctor Who book, but I couldn't see it closely enough.
Maybe.
But yeah. Well, I guess. Did you want to actually say what you wanted to say, Comic, about your character bits?
Yeah, thank you. The easier one is Muriel. I had a lot of hopes for Muriel going into this. I had conspiracy theories that they were going to turn out to have been a former archangel, but their memory was erased, and that's why, Gabriel was going to be the even lower level Scrivener, because that's what they'd done before. But I had at least hoped that they would get a chance to grow as a character, and I felt really annoyed that the one thing that they worked out was immediately negated by we figured that out just now before you even got here. And their last line is no, I was an idiot the whole time. Well, that sucks. I wanted them. I had hopes that other angels and demons would learn to love Earth and be better people. And I thought that Muriel would be the first step in that. And they just didn't get to grow. The other character that I felt particularly a lot for was Aziraphale, in that I felt like his character arc through the first two seasons was very much about learning to confront heaven and see its toxicity, stand up for himself, and learn to embrace goodness on his terms. And I guess that kind of happened a little bit in that he said that he was God's second best angel, but he never changed heaven. He never got to go back to Crowley on his own terms. And it just felt like he just never got what he wanted. He was trying and trying and trying and trying, and nothing ever worked. And that's just the end of him. And hated that.
Yeah, I feel that with Muriel. I understand what you're saying about wanting to see that arc. I would say in reaction to that, Muriel did enjoy, I don't know if she ever drank the tea, but she did read the books, and she was enjoying some of those earthly pleasures. So maybe if, again, people didn't get Thanos, it would have been a direction that she'd have been able to go in, especially if Aziraphale was at the helm, so to speak, and kind of that was more acceptable. And then you talked about the fact that she, was like, oh, I guess it was easy. To me, I almost feel like that was a step towards growth, because self-awareness is definitely an important part of the human experience of growth. And so, you know, I'm ADHD. For me, I'm ADHD, and I'm kind of like a space case sometimes. And like originally, that was like everybody knew that but me, but now I know it, and I feel like I grew because of it. So I'm not trying to make light of that. I agree with you. I wish that both her and Eric, or sorry, both them and Eric, had more to their character arcs. I feel like there was a lot that could have been done there. But you just made me think of those things while you're talking. So
I agree with
Yeah.
that too. I think that there's like, so they kind of condensed Muriel's character arc into that one line when they said, "I'm the useful idiot." So what's kind of funny about that is by realizing they're the useful idiot, they're no longer the useful idiot. Do you know what I'm saying? So the
Yeah.
whole character arc happened when they realized it, and then now we can, like, I think we're meant to realize that they're not as inept, right? The fact that they could solve that they were being used means that they're smarter than people thought they were. So, kind of.
But then when they dissolved, like,
I mean, when they
no,
dissolved.
no,
yeah.
I was an idiot, or I was the dim one, whatever the
Oh,
line
is that
was.
what I missed? I haven't rewatched, so I missed. I thought the last thing they said was, yeah, okay, I missed that. That's sad.
I can't remember the sequence. I do feel like that's yet another thing that probably like got sacrificed in the move to 90 minutes is
Yeah.
those smaller character plot, like character developments. So,
So
I wish they
Sylviana-
would have done more with that.
Sylviana is in the chat, and they mentioned that Rachel Talele gave a quick update that they wanted us to share. So some people were upset with the interview, and Rachel Talele posted on social media that their partner of 40 years had passed away just a few days before they gave this interview. So they were not in a great mental or emotional space, that they did not mean any insult, anything that was taken that way. That was not what they meant by it. Also about the kiss, they wanted to clarify that they had no say-so in whether there was a kiss or not. When they were handed the script, there wasn't one in it. So I think that sums up. It's in the Discord if you want to take a look at it, but that sums up what's in the social media post. So hearts to Rachel Talele for losing her partner. That's sad.
Yeah.
I had heard that she lost her partner, like, and I was like, what a terrible time. And she has to pretend to be excited about this thing. And she is somewhat excited, but like, well, I don't know how she even got up excitement dealing with that. So
Yeah. And she's going to be facing a lot of people with a lot of questions
with a lot
and
of
opinions.
vitriol.
And...
Yeah. Okay. So, this is a big one, but I, again, don't want to like, take too much time. Kind of wanted maybe from each person, just like, what's your favorite and least favorite moments of the whole thing? So I'm gonna reverse it again. Oh God, I guess that's me. I didn't plan. I don't know actually. Oh God. That cold open might be my least favorite moment. I didn't feel like it added anything to their characters. I feel like it just confused me. I really don't like Legolas as Aziraphale. It's just that thing I really didn't like. Favorites? Gosh, I don't know. I mean, I said before, even though it's like extremely sad and stuff, I feel like it was the right call to kind of have this heroic self-sacrifice to get rid of heaven and hell for good and leave humanity to its own devices. And I did like moments of Aziraphale and Crowley, like the one that we were already crying over in the trailer of when they're looking at each other and crying and agreed on what they're going to do, but feeling the feels. I just wish that could have gotten like more time to breathe, but I loved that moment. So, Sandaria, did you want to share?
Sure, I think I can do this. So I'll start with the bad and end with the good. So my least favorite, I think, is probably actually Michael at the very end going kind of full Daenerys Targaryen. I didn't throwing all of it in the fire. I did like Aziraphale and Crowley like trying to talk her off the ledge, but I just didn't get the whole like that scene. I don't know. Anyway, that wasn't my favorite. And then I think my favorite might be when Aziraphale and Muriel went to hell. It was campy and fun, and it felt a little more Good Omens to me. And also, Femeric? What are we calling Femeric? Femeric in hell with the anyway.
Fem
so-
Eric, yeah.
Femeric. So I liked, and the interaction, the little tiny interactions between Eric and Muriel that happened there in hell, even too. So I liked that whole scene. I think.
Oh, was that just me? Did that feel like a little bit of fan service? To put Muriel and Eric
A good kind.
A good
Yes.
kind. Okay. Madman.
So this is going to just be my sensitivities, and I just want to apologize in case I was talking about Muriel a bit ago, and I might have accidentally misgendered them. So I apologize if I offended anybody. I realized at the end anyway. So I just want to say that first and embarrass myself. And for least and most least favorite, I would say again, just like Sandaria said, Michael with the scapegoat. She felt like a scapegoat. She just felt like her being the is it her or they?
It's her for Michael.
Michael.
Okay, all right. Thank you. I appreciate it. Like it came out of nowhere to me. Like I understand that she's very sort of disgruntled or whatever, but it felt like it very much. It's just convenient. Like, oh, it was Michael. Okay, all right. Anyway, I feel like there's more backstory to that could have been built out. And then the most my favorite for Aziraphale was that moment when he's before they go to hell, when he's like, "But I'm a master of disguise," and they turn back to him, and he's like, with his teeth, I can never unsee that, and it is the most amazing thing forever for me. I don't know why. It's just hilarious.
It freaked me out a little bit.
I was like, wait, what? And then the one for Crowley is when, you know, how he's on the ground and they duct tape his mouth and pull him to hell. But then when they push him back, like, I love that part. That was hilarious. It's the visual gags for me. I'm a sucker for those. So.
I want to point out someone, like, apparently in the chat they're saying Fem Eric is Erica. I love it.
Yes.
Okay. Comic.
Yes. Okay. Hated everything in the bookshop. The end of the series, talking to God and Satan, sacrificing themselves stuff. I think I'm on record for that by now. Good stuff. I also loved that moment where Aziraphale's like had the demon teeth. I love that as an exchange. Like Aziraphale's like, "Oh, I'm a master of disguise," and you're like, "Yeah, just like your magician bit." And you know, Crowley's already going into that, and then he has the teeth, and Crowley's like, "Oh, that's quite good actually." I did like Crowley's just little moment of like, "Huh, yeah, that is a demon look." Whole scene in hell where Aziraphale was actually did a really good job of pretending to be a demon. Was fun.
And we get to see his nose. Finally.
Yes. Oh, and I also loved when they drove into space. And we're like, ah.
Yeah, we got more of that. Okay, Odan.
Yeah, so for favorites, also when they drove into space, that was just epic. It was fun. It was campy. We had Queen playing. We had Aziraphale holding on for dear life. So yeah, that scene was a lot of fun. I really liked it. And also, yeah, as Eterna, as you said, the sacrifice part itself, or the emotions right before that, where they finally just came to an understanding. I really liked that part. Just in isolation, not thinking about what it is for, or if it was a necessary sacrifice and everything. Just the part itself, I really, really enjoyed. And least favorite, honestly, the ending. So after that, I stand by It should have ended with a big bang. I really didn't like the part after with Asa and Anthony, because it just felt so, I don't know, it felt like they were trying to present us with a happy ending that was just not a happy ending. And if they want to have a sad ending, they should just give us a sad ending and not pretend. So yeah, I actually, that was the part I disliked the most.
Yeah, you mentioned that before. Oh, I realized sorry, we were talking about character development and I totally forgot to mention. I had this I actually thought there was some interesting character development in the dynamics between Crowley and Aziraphale, in that historically it's always been kind of pursuing Aziraphale, wanting to be closer, wanting to be more, and Aziraphale constantly rebuffing him. So, like, even though I agree, I don't like that they're humans and they're not them with their memories, I kind of liked at the end that it's Aziraphale that goes after Crowley, that he's the one that like gathers up his courage and asks him out, which he never got to do, in any of the previous seasons. So I kind of liked that as a kind of a character development thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also kind of liked that, again, like Crowley's thing from the beginning is like, you can't change it. You can't change it. You can't change it. And I kind of liked how at the end he's like, Aziraphale, like, yeah, you can't change it. We have to get rid of it. So I felt like there was some character growth there, but anyway. I'm kind of getting near the end, and I was thinking we were going to do the videos now,
Sure.
unless there was anything
Sure,
else.
absolutely.
I don't know, Comic, if you want to say something else before you step out.
Yeah, I was really scared to go into this. On Tumblr, there has been some vitriol going around. I've seen posts that are saying things like, obviously it was always going to end with them dying and not having a kiss, and that's the best possible ending, and you're stupid for not seeing it, and you're stupid for wanting something else. And that's... I did not think anyone here was going to have a sentiment like that, but I've been having to actively try to not take it personally when I see people who really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the parts that hurt me a lot. I've barely been sleeping. I've been missing meals. I have been a wreck these last few days. And I want to thank all of you for being gentle and kind and so considerate for our range of opinions. Like, I'm so grateful that I've been able to know all of you, and you've been good friends. Thank you.
Thank you, Comic.
Thank you, Comic.
Thank you, too.
Thank you so much for sharing your opinion.
Yeah, like I said, I think it was important to have that voice for a lot of fans that feel that same way in here. So
100%. Yep.
I hope you feel better.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself.
I'm trying.
Not about the finale, just in general. Just
Yep.
yeah.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
Okay. So have fun with the rest of it, and I'll see you around.
Yeah.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. So Cindaria, I don't know if you have one pulled up.
I do. Do we want to watch? Which one do we want to watch first? The credits or the interview?
I have to say, I'm so sorry. I don't want to
It's okay.
crash the party, but I think I also have to hop off because it's midnight over where I am. So
Thank you for staying so long. That's
no,
awesome.
it was very nice, but I can feel that it wouldn't be reasonable to
Plus,
stay.
you have to carefully put
Get
your
out of
beautiful
costume.
cosplay away. Which also, thank you again for putting all the work into getting all dressed up. You look amazing.
Thank you. Again, I'm sorry that I don't have anything more topical, but
perfect.
yeah.
I think it's lovely, and I appreciate you setting up for us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Go
you.
to bed.
And yeah, I have to voice one final gripe with the finale before I leave, because this is really the worst part of it all. Eric didn't get discorporated once.
I
I
know.
was so disappointed. I mean,
I
how
know.
like
That's his
that was
thing.
the minimum, really.
It was on my bingo card, and I was like, I thought that was a
Yeah.
given.
I thought this was
Yep.
an easy thing, but
I thought it was a given
wow.
too. There's so much love in the comments from the chat about your cosplay and about your opinions too. So thank you so
Oh,
much
thank
for
you.
coming, Odayan.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And yeah, I hope this was not the last time that we saw each other. I mean, definitely not in the server, but also in the setting, perhaps. So
Yeah.
have a good one. And
Bye-bye.
bye.
Bye.
Oh, I have to turn this off with my gloves on. It's going to be difficult.
I just love that cosplay so much.
It's really good.
Okay. Bye.
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 I love it.
Okay.
Okay.
I think you have the Peter Anderson thing pulled up.
Yes, so this
Yes?
is the intro. Exit. Is this all the credits? I don't know. So I think this is both the intro and the exit credits, if I'm not mistaken.
Great.
Are we
Yeah.
ready? All right. I'm going to mute myself because, yeah, here we go. Turns out I'm wrong. That was just that one. I do have the other one as well. But while I get that up, I guess we can discuss the intro real quick.
I always feel like with their stuff, like we need to do a whole in-depth deep dive because everything just flies by so fast, and I'm like, there's so many details.
There's a bit of an echo. Oh my. I don't know if that's on you. Anyway, it's interesting to see Satan.
Yeah, sorry, it won't be on the stream. It's you guys back there. I just have to unshare the thing.
All right, no worries.
There you go. Should be gone.
I think it's interesting. I'm noticing Satan walking towards the bookshop there at the end.
We finally got that answered, who that figure was. Yeah.
Mhm. I saw it, in the beginning or whatever, but it makes more sense coming around the for a second go.
Yeah.
So.
And they did say on the website, which makes sense, this is kind of going towards the theme of like, as the opening draws to an end, everything starts disappearing except for Aziraphale Crowley in the bookshop. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of portentous. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you said, there's so much to them. And I appreciate the fact that they really lean into it and really put all these little Easter eggs because they know we're looking for them. So I'm sure that as somebody else, as many of us are creators, it's fun to think about what they talk about when they're getting ready to make this. Oh, let's put this in here. Oh, what if we put in there? So it'd be fun to be a fly on the wall when they're making these things. So
Yeah.
I'm just trying to solve this because it says title sequence and end credits, but I do not see the end credits here.
Are you on their website?
I am on their website.
I saw it as a separate thing. Further down the page.
Further down. Okay, I must have just missed this. Am I there yet? There it is. Okay, my apologies. Do we want to go ahead and go? Let me share it so Madman can see it too.
thanks.
Yep. Sorry about that a minute ago.
No worries.
All right.
You make me
Yeah, it was like we said that there's the second Queen song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I did.
it was hidden though. Like it literally popped. If you're watching this on Amazon, unavoidably a pop-up comes up about 5 seconds into the credits, where it just shows others like you would like to click one of these, and so I couldn't. I tried over and over again to even watch it, and I couldn't watch the credits. So that's the first time I've seen the whole thing. That's kind of sad.
Yeah, now that it's been pointed out, and now that I'm watching it a second time, like I think this kind of hints at it, kind of the multiverse theory of like, oh, there's just different versions of them in different. I think someone shared one where they're like, it's like a plant universe where they're like fruits or something.
Yeah, Aziraphale was an avocado,
Yeah.
and Curly was an apple. So, which makes sense, you know, at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like that. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Yeah, as I said, it could, like, I feel like I'm going to have to dig into these much more in depth. We'll probably do that closer to Tick, but.
Yeah, some people in the chat are not happy with this particular song choice after the heartbreak. Like, also suggested like Love of My Life. Let's see. Yeah. John Deacon, the bassist. How do you say that for the band? Wrote this song for his wife. Aw, okay. That makes it very fitting then. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. I think then the we were talked about watching the behind the scenes
right here,
like X-ray content.
Yep. Let me share it with the both of you, and then we'll watch that. So, can you explain to everybody in the audience what this is exactly? Because they posted it yesterday, I think, right? So.
It came out after the episode itself came out, several hours later, at least, or a day. Just a 5-minute behind the scenes actors, producers talking about the episode. It was lovely to see Michael and David as themselves talking about their characters. Be warned, this extra content ends with a tearjerker. Not a bad tearjerker though, but it made me cry a little bit. So
okay, I'm gonna.
How long have we been friends? 6,000 years. Friends? We're not friends. We are an angel and a demon.
There's something very particular about this story and the relationship of these two characters that has spoken to people in a very direct way.
It's incredibly moving. It feels like a journey we've all gone on together.
It's a really clever story and really, really needed in these times.
Everyone comes back to it with such a sort of overflow of enthusiasm and joy and love. And that's been one of the real treats and one of the things that I'll desperately miss about this show.
A huge driving force was making sure that Aziraphale and Crowley get an ending and that fans get to see something really special, because I think this will be the best one.
I care about the project, and I care about trying to really make a satisfying ending for the world.
The original Good Omens novel had a huge fan following before we ever showed up. And that was always a nervousness, because if you're embodying something that has been loved, you might break it. It's been a real relief and pleasure and joy that so many of the people that loved that original book are still with us on this journey now, and that these characters have almost developed a life of their own outside of that.
One of the most enjoyable aspects is being able to map the relationship between Aziraphale and Crowley over the eons.
I continue to be delighted and inspired and thrilled by all the people who have come to play with us. We've been very lucky.
Part of the joy of the world of Good Omens is that it is all of us. It represents all of us.
For anyone who has ever felt a bit of an outsider or a bit different, these characters are the ultimate outsiders. It's just wonderful seeing all the relationships that have been created through people being fans of the show.
You weren't here. I wasn't going to lose this place as well. I think Crowley's really lonely. I think Crowley has always been eternally lonely. And Aziraphale's the only thing close to a friend he's ever been able to have. Aziraphale allows Crowley to be who he is. And that's why it's so difficult for Crowley when Aziraphale disappears. Because without him, he doesn't really have an identity. You could have avoided all this. We could have done the runner ourselves. I asked you to come with me.
Aziraphale and Crowley choose annihilation for the good of humanity.
What do you want, Crowley? You know what I want.
They want human beings to be free and to have freedom of choice, but it means that they have to disappear.
Did I say the wrong thing?
They ultimately choose what they believe is right for humanity over their own happiness. Unbeknownst to them, life finds a way.
I believe we've come to a decision. It's almost quite philosophical. In some ways quite unlike anything that's gone before. And yet it seems the only way this story could end, with something of a meditation on what it is to be human, really. Something that I will be proud of and will live with me forever.
It's incredibly bittersweet to get to the end of it.
I'm not really accepting that that's coming to an end, I don't think.
You know, we've gone through all kinds of experiences doing it, and just such a pleasure. And to go through it with David has been wonderful.
You ever wonder if there's anything more than this? I don't need anything more than this. I have the universe out there, and I have you. I have everything I've ever wanted.
All right. Yep. There we go.
You're muted again.
I guess we're ending on another emotional note. Yeah. Oh God, Michael tearing up just kills me.
I'm so happy we got to see them, though.
Yeah.
I am. I want to take a pause. Yeah.
There were so many beautiful moments of like them behind the scenes just laughing with each other that I was just like, oh, I needed to see that. I needed to see that so much because I don't feel like we saw that in the characters in the episode. Just to see them behind the scenes enjoying each other's company was heartwarming for me.
Yeah, it's healing too. It is. Yeah. People are pointing out Michael is a real fan. He is. He really is.
Yeah.
He's not just an actor in this. So.
Is Michael in the audience right now?
My husband has joked about that since we know he reads AO3 and stuff. It's possible, but
hi, if you are.
Hi, Michael. We love
Hi,
you.
Michael.
I love you.
We're such big fans.
I did want to say something though. I know we're gonna do like I'm gonna let you. I'm sorry. Blah. Go. Eterna. Where are we now?
No, we were just wrapping up from here. I think maybe this is what you were heading to is, where do we go from here? What is our next steps, just as individuals and as a fandom, now that this is over? I kind of wanted to hear people's thoughts now that there's 3 of us.
This is what I was sticking around for, because I want to hear you guys' thoughts too.
Mostly I'm sticking around for the fandom. That's what's, you know, the future for me is still this. I know it's trite. I told my patrons this the other day. I made a video. I haven't filmed a review for the channel yet. It's too hard because there's a lot of emotions here, and I'm afraid to step on people's toes, but I also want to give people a voice, so it's kind of a balancing act. And I really want to focus on what I think is important. And it does sound trite, but it's like, it is the friends we made along the way. Like, that's what's important in the end to me, and that's what I want to keep focusing on. But I don't, I love so many little pieces of the finale, even though the end completely was devastating for me. So I don't know if any of you are aware of, if you've heard of Topher Grace and what he did for the Star Wars prequels, but I think my next hyper fixation might be that. If you know, you know, I guess. So anyway, that's my future project.
You can't say that when I don't know what you're referencing.
So the Star Wars prequels, like, there's a lot of good material. The acting is great. It's very similar to this. People loved parts of it, but there were parts that was difficult for the fandom to deal with. And Topher Grace re-edited all 3 prequels, and thank God I don't have that, into something with a more satisfying for a majority of the fandom. So I might just play with that. It would just be for those of us who would want to see something a little different, obviously, but I have a lot of material to work with, thanks to Rachel and Michael and David and every other person who put stuff into this. So it's just like a little fan project for me, you know, because I was thinking about doing fan edits, and I started a couple, but I was too sad. Literally every song I'm picking, it's like Mad World or, you know, Who Wants to Live Forever. And I'm like, okay, I'm just crying my way through these, and I don't want to make people more devastated. So I just kept thinking, how do I heal? Because I don't draw, I don't write fanfic, I make videos. So I think I might just play with that and see if it works out. I can't promise anything, but it's an idea.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for explaining that, because I was like, I don't know what this means.
It sounded familiar, but I hadn't heard
it. So for me, I'm still gonna continue making fan art. It's funny, someone asked me like what the finale do to your muse, and I was like, it didn't really, frankly, do anything. It didn't kill it, but it also didn't enliven it. I'm not like, I have so many good fan art ideas. I'm just like, I don't know. I still feel like making fan art, but I don't know what it's going to be next. So more of that. I'm definitely going to be like jumping into fanfics, both to see different versions of this. Plus, I just love reading what creators have already made and going back to like that version of them. Like that's kind of my headcanon place, is if I don't like what's happening in actual canon, I go to fanfic and kind of play in what could have been. So and then I've made some friends that I hope I can keep, and I'm still going to the Ineffable Con in August, and I'm so excited about that, and seeing some of you all there. So that's the next steps for me.
Yeah.
Madman?
That's great. Yeah, one of the first thoughts that I had after the end, and I started seeing that it was causing such a tumultuous response in the fandom, was I was like, oh no, people aren't going to go, and we're going to be fractured, and I'm going to lose people. And I'm like, I can't. But I was glad to see that people were coming together and everything. I mean, obviously, we have a lot of strength. We've been through a lot. We've been through the final 15, well, the semi-final 15 now. I don't know. Anyway, that was one of my concerns, is that we were going to lose, and we still may. But I'm grateful that everybody's here together. I'm grateful that we've had all these people who came just to this live stream, to come and support each other. So that's fantastic. As far as the series go, one of the things I keep thinking about is the fact that there is still a ton of new like material, source material for people. And while, we may not all agree on how we feel about how things ended or how things were played out, there's still a lot of really neat source material that people can take as launch pads. I think I said earlier that there's just a lot of little bits and pieces that people could take and run with in so many directions. So I'm really excited to see what people come up with and where people take it, especially things like you were saying, Sandaria, like fan edits and things like that, where people kind of put in their own stuff. And so, yeah, I think it should be business as usual. We just keep going because that's what we do. We pick ourselves up and we keep moving on because that's all you can do. So.
So thank you guys for your thoughts. I think just to wrap up, we came up with this little idea behind the scenes. What would Pizza Jesus do?
That's right. Thank you for reminding us.
Yeah, I don't know if Madman, it was you who came up with the idea, wasn't it?
No, I think it was somebody else. I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
It was me. It was me. Because
Well, you came up with the Pizza Jesus.
Because my heart is that the just like Madman, my first thought at the end when my husband was like, "How did you feel about it?" and I was like, "I don't like it," and he said, "Why?" and I was like, "Because my fandom is gonna fall apart," and that was why, and I was just so afraid of that. So it's nice to see that, people can come together over this. So sorry, that's just like the number one thing for me. Yeah, what would Pizza Jesus do exactly? Love it.
Yeah. So the idea is going forward. How do we take care of ourselves when we're all grieving? Good, bad, or otherwise, the show is done and we need to grieve the end of it. And how can we be kind to each other through that? Can we reach out to someone who holds an opposite opinion to us and validate that, that their feelings make sense? So I think that was just it. And then we connected that to I was like, Pizza Jesus, let's be kind to each other and figure out how to be there for each other. And I think that's a beautiful sentiment and a good note to end this stream on. So maybe just think about that. How can I show up for the other fans through this, while also obviously taking care of ourselves. So that being said, remember that we do have a Discord community that we welcome people to join if you're not already there, so that you can chat with us about it and share your Pizza Jesus moments with each other and be there for each other. So I don't know if you had anything else to wrap up, Sandaria?
I was going to play Good Omens Club on the way out.
Yes. I'm all for that.
It's very timely.
Yes. All right, everybody. Eterna and Madman, thank you so much for making this stream possible, because I wasn't sure I was going to be able to do it. And you made this possible for everybody. So thank you both from the bottom of my heart.
Love you guys.
And we'll do this again. This is not the end. This is not the end.
I mean, maybe for you, but I'm not. I'm coming back.
And take over my channel. Yeah, we'll do this again soon.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you all so much.
Yes, and enjoy this fabulous video by Laura and Vivumi.
Yeah, let me make sure Madman can see it, and here we go.
It's always playing in my head, so
Right.
Church and sports and gossiping with friends on Saturday, but I found a very special place where nerds and geeks can all be free to show off their cosplay. I'm having wild dreams from reading AO3. Fan art consumes my days. At night embroidery won't make my mama proud. My new song parody. She hears a baby girl, I know she's gonna scream, God, what have you done? You're a Good Omens girl, and you write fan fiction, oh mama. my true passion to join the Good Omens Club. I'm gonna keep on asking in the Good Omens Club. I'm project multitasking with my friends on the sub. I'm gonna keep on crafting with the Good Omens Club. Good Omens Club. Theories and lots of lore. Lovers in the cottage who are enemies no more. Pain fights and a slam against the wall. Every day new speculation about Crowley's fall. I think my wild dreams from reading AO3, Tumblr and Instagram. You've been too good to me. Won't make my mama proud. My new song parody. She hears her baby girl. I know she's gonna scream, God, what have you done? You're a Good Omens girl, and you write fan fiction, oh mama. I'm just having fun. Read a page in my feels. It's my true passion to join the Good Omens Club. I'm gonna keep on asking in the Good Omens Club. I'm project multitasking with my friends on the sub. I'm gonna keep on crafting with the Good Omens Club. Good Omens Club. With my friends on the sub. God, what have you done? You're a Good Omens girl, and you write fan fiction, oh mama. I'm just having fun. Read a page in my feels. It's my true passion to join the Good Omens Club. I'm gonna keep on asking in the Good Omens Club. I'm project multitasking with my friends on the sub. I'm gonna keep on crafting with the Good Omens Club. Good Omens Club. Omens Club. Good Omens Club.
I love that song so much. It's fantastic. It really is.
Thank you all. I love you all, guys. That was a great way to end it.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you, Vazumi and Laura, for making that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, are we all done? All out?
All done.
I think so. Okay, we'll see you all next time.
Next time.
Next time. Bye.